I'm Roy Vasquez. I'm the professor of marketing strategy, operations, supply chain here at School of Business, Fred Pacific. I've been a consultant for probably close to 25 years now. Yes, I look that old. I am the Planning Commission for the City of Fresno. I am also the past chairman for the Hispanic Chamber. I'm also an advisor for the Black Chamber and also the Asian and the East Indian Chamber. I worked in the academic and non-academic, the commercial, as well as different industries throughout the area of the city of Fresno. I'm born and bred here in Fresno. I love Fresno. I contribute a lot in terms of the Fresno economy here in terms of not only working with other entities and other organizations, but also with different businesses. So there's a lot of businesses not only through the state and also locally, but also through the nation and also worldwide, because I do a lot of consulting in the international market as well. So I bring a lot of that, not only to my classroom, but also to today's seminar, where we're going to talk about the social enterprise business plan. Now, the business plan, for the most part, is really, when we look at it in terms of a hard copy, it's really a documented assessment or representation of what you have in your head. That's really what a business plan is. It's a guideline. It's really a format or a playbook, if you will, of how your business should be designed. Not necessarily how it should be run, but how it should be designed in order to be able to get the mission and vision that you're looking for. That's what a business plan really is. So I want you guys to look at a business plan as really a living document. So it's always going to change. When you write it down on a hard copy, it's not going to, that's not the ending result of it. It really is where you have opportunities to modify it, revise it, and to change it based on what the market dictates or also what your economics dictates in terms of how you should design it. When you are designing your business plan and your business overall, you should have it always in your mindset whether the business continues to be designed towards your mission and your outcome. That should always be the ongoing revision of your business plan. Otherwise, it's going to be on the shelf, it's going to collect dust, and you're never going to benefit from the documentation or essentially the visualization of your business plan, okay? So it really is a documented visual of how your business is running or how it should run, okay? So keep that in mind when we look at a business plan. So how many individuals have experience with a business plan? 10,000, 20,000?
Probably about 75 to 100.
All right, good. All right, so we got an expert here. So if I can't answer anything, I'm going to go to this guy. So in any business plan, you will always have an outcome that you're looking for and focusing on. So some people can sit over here so that they can actually see this. When it comes up, it should be coming up. Or I can just read it right off of it. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, what happened? Did you fall asleep? I guess you did. All right, so the executive summary. The executive summary, an exam, when is it done? Last.
Absolutely.
Last. So an executive summary is always done last. It is really the abstract of your business plan. That's really what it is. So your business plan may have 10 or 20 or maybe 30 different sections or maybe even 5 sections, depending on the depth or the clarity or the conciseness of a business plan. But your executive summary, if anything else, is a summation of each one of these sections. And your conclusion is really, at the end, tying in how the business plan makes sense. So when you look at an executive summary, it's really an abstract. If you guys all done an abstract, it's really a summation of how your paper or your overall paper really comes together. So I wanted you guys to get a visual here so at least we can get some kind of, what's going on here?
Looks like there's no source found.
Should have it on computer. All right, so let's talk about the mission. Every business plan, every company, no matter if it is documented or not, has a mission. There is always some outcome that they want to achieve. So what would be a mission of your companies? So how can you describe what would be a mission? So if I say, what is your mission of your company? What are you really going to tell me? What do you guys think? What should the mission be? Your purpose, your existence. What you are trying to achieve. That's what your mission is. So if you're trying to achieve that I want to be able to help maybe maybe economically disadvantaged individuals, or maybe I'm trying to contribute to society in a certain way. That would be your overall mission, what you want to achieve. Now, what would be your vision? Because your vision, if anything else, is really your internal communication of how your business is run. So an example would be, let's say if you guys are going to, you guys are getting educated, you guys are going to this summit, you guys want to get a lot of experience about this summit. Well, you want to be able to gather enough information about this summit so that you can actually put together an idea for a business plan or an idea in order to be able to help society. That is your overall mission in terms of this summit. Part of your vision, if anything else, is the collections or the connections of each one of the activities that help you get towards your mission. So one of those is going to this class. That is one of your visionary activities to get to your overall mission. So far, so good, guys? Am I on track? I was going to go back to this guy. Now, why is that important? Because it helps you design the business so it can come to its conclusion or come to its outcome. And sometimes, even though we may say, well, you know what, I'm contributing to society, I'm doing the mission. But maybe your company is dysfunctional in terms of how it operates. You may have some money to be able to contribute sociologically to society, but maybe the company is not connecting right in terms of the vision. So there can be a disconnect in terms of the mission and the vision. So another example would be that maybe you have enough money at the end of the month, but you're working your butt off. I'm going to take that off. You're working your rear off in order to be able to do all these different things, in order to be able to have money at the end so that you can contribute. Well, you're not doing everything right in terms of the vision, the operation, but you're still getting your mission across. So when we look at companies in terms of missions and visions operationally, your mission, if anything else, is the outcome, but your vision needs to align and sync in order for it to be, in order to function well, so that you can obtain your mission. Okay? So, enterprise governance, one of the elements in terms of the business plan. So if I'm looking at a particular type of governance, it really means that who is going to help guide, drive, maintain, and support, and realign, if necessary, the operation of the company. That's enterprise governance. So it's all these different factors that come into play in terms of how individuals, or the individuals that work in the company, or the managers or supporters, or the donors, or the board of trustees, or the board of directors, how they're providing the right type of governance in order to be able to get the mission. And of course, once again, the managers are part of the vision, the operational part. So when you guys are looking at missions and visions, I want you guys to understand that the vision is the overall operation of the company. The vision, if anything else, the mission is the overall operation of the company. The vision is the operational components that help the company get to its mission. And all of these things, for the most part, you have to have in your head when you guys are putting together all your different components of your business plan. So who are you going to have in terms of providing the governance? How many individuals, how many managers, how many supervisors, how many people that you're going to essentially have provide the governance and the expertise and the support and the feedback, if necessary, in order to be able to help this company move along towards its overall mission. Who are those people? So in your business plan, you're going to be identifying these individuals, and you're going to be identifying why you have chosen these individuals. What contribution do these individuals are going to have in terms of getting your company towards its mission? Because it just can't be your friend because you just like the guy and you guys have good time together at lunch. He may not have anything to do with experience or support or dedication towards your mission. He's just a good guy to have when you guys are going out and having lunch, salad, and a tea, right? So sometimes individuals, that helps you identify essentially the type of individual that you need to have. And always keep that in mind. Will these individuals that are providing the governance help me achieve my mission? And that's the question you have to have in terms of identifying these people. Human capital needs. So when I'm looking at human capital needs, especially in terms of the business plan, how many individuals do you need to have? What type of individuals? What is the quality? What is the level? What is the skill set? Those are some of the hard skills that we have. What is the soft skills? What about communication? What about personality? What about interaction? So these are things that are very important. If you're going to have a very customer-oriented type of enterprise, then I would probably stay away from people who don't like other people, okay? You want to be able to have people that essentially can interact and dialogue and communicate not only what you're trying to achieve, but also create an environment where the visionary operations works well. They are lubricated, okay? Because it's always nice to be able to have people that like other people and work together, because then you guys all get the things done the way you're supposed to, right? So when we look at the human capital, especially in terms of this, why it's not doing it? I always like to have you guys have a visual here, but you guys have it in front. Is this going to mess up the video here? Identify the number of individuals, the type of individuals that you want to have, hard skills and soft skills, and what their activities are going to be. That's the human capital needs. Now, you may also include, if you want, the salaries or the costs that you guys are going to be paying these individuals, so it can give you at least a good understanding about what the financial output and what the financial dedications will be for your business. The other part is the financial capital needs. Now, you guys, this is the easy part. This is the easiest part of all, right? How many of you guys think that this is the easiest part? No? Have any one of you put together a financial statement from scratch?
From scratch.
So how would you do it from scratch? You guys want to help me out? How would you guys do it from scratch? How do you guys put together numbers that truly represent the sales forecasts of a company? What do you guys think?
You take your unit and then multiply it.
A number of different types of units, if you have more than one, yes. And you multiply it by the price or the anticipated price for what the market is willing to bear, what the market is willing to pay, right? And you multiply it by the number of times that you anticipate you're going to sell it, multiply by the number of times in the year, every week, every day, whatever it may be, and that gives you your sales forecast right up there. Pretty simple in terms of sales forecast, right? You have to be able to itemize the number of units you're going to be selling. So all the units that you are selling, that you anticipate to sell, they will be line item out in your sales forecast. Sometimes you can consolidate those based on maybe they have similarities, maybe they're all food. But maybe the different types of food only sell at certain times. So you want to be able to identify those, okay? So once again, the different types of products you are selling at the market price, whatever you are selling them at competitively, multiplied by the number of items that you are selling, multiplied by the number of times in the year or week that they will be available to sell. This is important, that they will be available to sell, because you may have products that you're only going to sell during the season, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 2 months out of the year, maybe only during the summer, and then they're gone after that. So your sales forecast will be skewed if you think you're going to sell them throughout the year, when in reality you're only selling them for 2 months or 1 week or 2 weeks out of the year. That gives you a better understanding in terms of the behavior of your sales forecast. Your sales forecast has a certain behavior, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Because you're relying on that in order to be able to pay for other bills and to have a certain amount of cash flow in your box, in your company. So you're thinking that you're going to be making all this money or all these sales when it is an off-peak and you're not selling anything. So you have to be able to make adjustments in your business to accommodate for the lack or the shortage or less sales. So you have to do different things. Otherwise, all your financials are going to be skewed. All right, gentlemen, do you have anything else to add?
I'd like to just make one comment. I think as you look at this, I think it's important. You're making a series of assumptions. And it's the assumptions that your board will challenge. It's the assumptions individuals will challenge. If your assumptions are strong, the numbers will follow, and they can't argue with the numbers based on their agreement with the assumptions. So it's important as you go through this process, well, what's the price? How do I establish the price? What was the price, and why did I establish it the way it was established? All right, and you'll get into how you do that. But it's important that you get buy-in to the assumptions, and as you get buy-in to the assumptions, then they can't argue with the numbers.
And the assumptions that he's talking about is your research.
Yes.
So all the research that you are doing, it's all an educated guess. Nothing is set in stone. It would be nice to be able to have a nice crystal ball and you know exactly what the future is, but that doesn't occur. So you have to be able to do as much research as you can in order to be able to validate that you are assuming that you're going to sell 20,000 items at $50 a pop for 52 weeks out of the year. Okay? So all the research, if anything else, it could be competitor research. It could be research that you have conducted in terms of maybe the industry, because there's a lot of industry research that you can actually go online and get. And all you're doing, if anything else, you're saying that the research by other credible entities and other competitors that sell similar products like mine, they are selling this number and they are selling at this price. That is part of research. So nobody can say, well, wait a minute here, why is it at 50 bucks? Well, because other competitors are selling it at 50 bucks, and in the market it says that 50 bucks really is the right price for this product. So all assumptions are backed up by the research. So you're assuming something. And you're assuming that this is going to be right because of this. So it's a good, educated guess about what's going to happen. Okay? That's what he was talking about, this gentleman, in terms of assumptions. Assumptions are good, educated, supported guesses by research. Operational capital needs. So when you guys are doing your financials, you guys are telling me the number of different products, what the price is going to be based on your research, whatever it may be, maybe competitor research if there's not a lot of research that's out there. How much you're going to sell it at, what's going to be the total amount in terms of the sales forecast. You're also going to, if anything else, give me at least an understanding about what your debt is going to be, what your liabilities will be, what your expenses are going to be, what your fixed costs or variable costs are going to be. So one of your variable costs could be that maybe labor at a certain time. Another fixed cost could be your rent. When you look at expenditures, maybe you have your electricity and you have other things you're paying, all the raw materials that you need in order to be able to make the cupcakes that you're going to be selling, just for argument's sake, okay? So when you are looking at all your expenditures, it's all the things that you are paying. Sales revenue is all the things that you're getting in terms of money from the selling of your product. Your cash flow is essentially, and these are the three basic financial statements in any business, your cash flow, if anything else, is how well you use your money within your box, within the company. Because sometimes companies can be very, very sales-oriented strong, but they can be very cash flow poor because all their money is tied up in the way that they actually are operating, and they don't have enough money in order to be able to do other things with. So it's kind of like the same thing as that you spend a lot of money, you're making $100,000 a year, and you spend a lot of money on clothes, but then at the end of the month, you have no money at all. Well, where the heck did all the money go? It's all in your clothes, and you can't really use it for anything else. So companies of anything else, it's a comparison. An example is that they can actually make a lot of money, but they can be very cash flow poor. Okay? What we want to do in the optimum company is one where they have a strong sales revenue stream, they have a good control of expenditures, and they have a reasonable use of money in cash flow. That is a good, strong company. Keep that in mind, okay? How much money I get in, how much money goes out, and how well I use my money. Those are the three financial statement documents in a business plan. Operational capital needs. This is all the things you need to have in order to be able to operate your business. So let's say the building, the land, the number of vehicles, the types of computers or the number of computers, maybe the tables and chairs. These are all things that you need to have in order to be able to properly operate your business, and you have to be able to identify those. The reason why that's important is because it gives you at least a good indication of how things should be designed operationally in your business. And it also hopefully will give you an idea in terms of being able to validate and justify what things you need to have. Because sometimes I may think, well, I need to have 5 computers. Why do you need to have 5 computers? Maybe because I think 5 computers is a good amount because we want to be able to use all these different types of things. Then when you continue to evaluate your operational capital, you may figure out, wait a minute here, I just need to have 3 instead of 5. Then I can save a couple $1,000s not buying the last 2. I can do everything just as well with 3 computers instead of 5. So when we start to identify all our operational capital, it gives us a better understanding in terms of what is the proper use or the proper number or the proper design of how we should operate our business, how we should design it. How big our kitchen should be, how big our closet should be, okay? Sometimes having a bigger closet also forces us to be able to spend more. So having the right amount of size and space is also important to be able to help you control your costs as well. And so those are real things that are important. Questions so far? This is good stuff, huh? Market analysis. So you may think that you have a great product, but the market may not think you have a great product. So how do you identify whether you are making the right product? That's where you do market analysis. You can do surveys, you can ask other individuals, you can look at competitors in terms of what they're actually selling, and you can look at the different types of features. Now remember, once again, when you are evaluating the competitors, you need to be able to evaluate the type of product they're selling, where they're selling it, what the price is, what they're offering. Because these are important elements, because it may be the same type of product and you say, well, you know, I could sell that same product too, but maybe they're offering other things that you're not aware of. Maybe they're offering different types of warranty. Maybe they're offering different types of locations. So these are things that are very important in terms of what the market is dictating or what the market wants. And so what you're trying to do is evaluate the type of market you want to be able to sell the product to and the type of market that you are faced with. Because maybe you want a market that essentially makes this amount of money and they're going to buy your product every single day. But the reality is the market makes this amount of product and they will buy your product every other day. And so you have to understand exactly what the market is so that you can actually create your operational plan and also identify the type of product that you really need to sell and how to sell it too. Okay? Questions on this? I know I have a limited amount of time here. Competitor analysis. So why is it important to be able to identify our competitors? What do you guys think? Why is that an important thing? Just to know who you're competing against and that's about it? But a competitor, pardon me?
Find out how much they're getting paid for whatever they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, and if they're gonna spend money at your competitor and not spend it with you, there's gonna be a limited amount of resources for the family.
Okay.
Purchases.
Anybody else? Why do we need to know or understand our competitors? One, of course, that we want to be able to understand exactly what the price is going to be and where they're actually selling the product, right? Understand exactly how they're structured and all these different things that they essentially are doing that maybe we're not doing. So really, when we look at a competitor analysis, we're not only identifying the types of competitors that we could be competed against, but really what's important is what they're doing. Really a competitor, when we look at a competitor analysis, we're identifying exactly what they're doing. Why are they doing it? How are they doing it? Where are they doing it? What the price is? How are they marketing? These are things that are very important because if we are selling similar types of products in the same market and these competitors are doing the same thing, then we need to understand exactly what they're doing because maybe they've been here longer than we have. Maybe they've been there maybe they're new competitors in the marketplace. And then after they came in, all of a sudden we started seeing our sales revenue stream go down by 20% or 10%. We want to know what the heck is going on. So that's why it's very important to be able to identify our competitors. Now, also remember that sometimes indirect competitors can also take advantage of our market. So we have direct competitors. These are competitors that essentially are in the same market, selling a similar type of product to our same market. Indirect competitors are competitors that are essentially outside the market that are selling similar types of products, or they're in the market, but they're selling slightly different products. Why would that be important? Well, one, because we want to be able to identify the direct competitors, the ones that we have to compete directly against, and whether they're strong or they're weaker than us. But we also want to identify whether their indirect competitors have a potential to compete against us too. Because if they don't have a potential to compete against us, maybe they just want to be a small market in a different area, then we don't really have to worry about them too much. We want to know about them, but we don't have to worry about them. The stronger indirect competitors are the ones that have the greater potential to be able to change their product mixes and they can compete against us. In other words, they hit us on a blind side. We didn't think that they were going to be competitors against us, then all of a sudden the next day they're selling the same product in the same market that we are. And all of a sudden we're shocked by that. And they start taking some of our market away automatically. So it's always nice to be able to understand exactly the type of competitors, how they're competing, where they're competing, and also the type of products in terms of selling and the type of market they're going after so that we can be prepared. A business plan is not only just a guidance for us, it's also a playbook in terms of possibilities as well. How well and how defined and how detailed our business plan can be, and we're always doing research every single day. Every entrepreneur should always do that. But it's a way for us to be able to at least understand or identify the things that we need to understand and identify. Okay? Questions on that? Competitor analysis? Products and services. So, you guys sell burritos. Burritos. You're going to have burritos for lunch, right? Why is it important to be able to understand exactly the type of product we're selling? And nowadays, and this has existed ever since they sold products to the first consumer, products and services always exist together, okay? There is no products that don't have services. There's no service that doesn't have a product. They all exist together. So when we are selling products and making products, it's always nice to be able to identify exactly what are the absolute features. So what you guys are doing is that you guys are going to describe your product in detail. What type of product is it? What are the different types of colors? What are the features that you're going to have for this product? What is it supposed to do? These are things that are very important. The service element is also the customer service element. It's also the maintenance. Warranty is also a service element to a product. So always remember this, the product is the actual consumption activity, because we all consume. It's the actual consumption activity of what you're selling. The service is the enhancement or support of that consumption. So every product will always have a service. So when you are identifying your product, what am I selling? What am I making? How am I going to support it? How am I going to maintain it? Those are all the service elements, okay, versus the product. So when you guys are putting these together, they'll help you understand much more in detail how you should structure your operations, how your finances should be, how your marketing should be. Because you really want to tell the consumer everything about it. Sometimes the consumer may not want to know everything, but you want to be able to understand exactly how to be able to market to them so that they can actually want to buy your product. So always keep this in mind. When we look at marketing, and we're going to talk about marketing a little bit, the more that you know about your market, the better you can market to them. Always keep that in mind. The more that you know about your market, the better you can market to them. Because the more you know about them, the more you can actually change some of your marketing techniques, what you can say, what you can't say, what you should not say, in order for them to be able to have a better understanding in terms of how that product plays a part in terms of the way that they consume. We buy products and services, and this is kind of like a marketing element because, of course, I teach marketing and strategy, that when we look at marketing, every single product you guys are wearing actually has a solution. You guys had a problem. You guys need to be dressed. You guys needed to eat. You guys need to have a car. You guys need to be able to do different things. But there are reasons why people buy one thing over another, even though the products are similar. And what we're trying to know in terms of the marketing analysis as well as marketing is that once we understand how they or what they or why they want to consume, then we can market in terms of how to match that. Otherwise, they're going to say, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm not going to buy it. All right? Keep that in mind, guys. So, products and services, detail, operations. This now is where you are telling the reader of the business plan how you guys operate. What's going on? What happens when the customer comes in and wants to buy your product? What happens when you turn the lights on in the morning? What is going on? You are describing how things operate in your business. That's an operational section. So when you guys are doing that, it gives you guys not only a greater idea in terms of how you should structure things, because sometimes things may not be as efficient as you want them to be, and maybe you might find some dysfunctional things that should not be there. That helps you understand much better how to be able to design it so it actually has a much greater flow. Remember, once again, ladies and gentlemen, like when we look at businesses, businesses are like families. There are some families that are functional, and there are some families that are dysfunctional. They still operate like families, ladies and gentlemen. Businesses are just the same way. There are businesses that are functional, and there are businesses that are dysfunctional. They still meet their mission, but all the visionary elements just don't jive. So keep that in mind, especially in terms of describing the operational function of your business. Does it all jive? Does it all gel? Does it all flow together? And if it doesn't flow, then you have to find ways or identify ways of being able to change that so it has a better flow so you can have a greater achievement of your mission. All right, marketing and sales. So now that we understand the business, we understand the product, we understand the market, how are we going to tell the market all the great stuff about our product and all the great stuff about what we're trying to achieve? That is the marketing and sales activity. So how are we going to sell it? How are we going to market it? So are you guys going to go after billboards, newspapers? You guys are going to go on the internet, social media? You guys are going to do the buzz? All these different things that are there. But once again, when you understand more about the market, as I mentioned before, then you understand you have a better way of being able to market to them. This is where the marketing part comes into play. So if they are much more used to social media, then you will actually, part of your marketing activities will be more social media oriented, because you want to be able to hit that mark. Because you surely don't want to be advertising in newspapers when they're online all the time getting all their information about the product, because there's a big disconnect there. So you want to be able to understand, one, the marketing in terms of the consumer market, and then you want to be able to match that. That's where the marketing and sales activity comes into play. So part of your sales, and there will always be sales, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what. Even though you may initially not sell, you really are selling. Everybody is a seller in this class. I'm a seller. So how well we sell and how well we connect will attribute to how well we actually sell our product, or how well the consumer will match or be a part of our product. Questions so far? So just tell me in terms of marketing, how you plan on marketing the product, how you plan on driving the message, and if you are selling the product, how you plan on selling it. Where are you going to sell it? How are you going to sell it?
Can I just make a
Sure, go ahead.
And I think people fail to realize what marketing really is, and I'm just going to give you a simple definition in my mind as a consultant. Marketing's everything. Every impression you make on a customer or a prospect is marketing. People say, well, how could that be? Stop and think about the rear end of the pizza delivery driver leaving your house with baggy shorts. Okay? Is that marketing?
That's marketing.
Absolutely. Okay, so people they miss it. They think marketing is PR, it's advertising, it's all these things. But marketing really is every interaction or every impression that you or your business makes on a customer or a prospect.
And there are two different types of two variations of marketing. One is the external marketing. We have the perceptive element in terms of the consumer to the market, and there's also internal marketing, consumer to consumer, or consumer to the company. I mean, the employee to the company, because you have two different types of consumers. You have the external consumer, and you have the internal consumer. So that's a great, thank you for that comment, because when we look at marketing overall, we think it's just the marketing activity itself, but marketing is also how you look. So if I came in here with maybe sandals and cut-off shorts, and I said, you know what, drink beer till the end of my life and all this other stuff, everything else, I do drugs and I'm happy about it, that may have a different type of connotation in this type of context, right? And so you may think, well, you know what, this guy may not know what he's talking about. I mean, I don't respect him that well because of the way he dressed, for one, initially, and also for the type of propaganda that he has on his shirt and everything else and how he looks. But those all play a part in not only just the selling of the product, but also in terms of the perception. Marketing is about perception. And all of you guys are marketing yourselves. You really are. When you talk to people, the way you guys dress, the way you guys act, your commands, the type of words you use, the type of words you don't use, how you look, your facial expressions, how well you're kept, your hygienic elements, okay? Whether you smell, or whether you use perfume or cologne, or whether you dress a certain way, or whether you have a good haircut or not. Those are marketing attributes. And these marketing attributes actually extend a brand. You're telling somebody about you. And so the way that your building is kept, maybe you mow the lawn every day, maybe things are great, maybe you interact with your neighbors very well. Those are all marketing attributes. So when you look at marketing and sales activities, even your employees that are off the clock, and all of a sudden now they go and they do different things, and they still are wearing the shirt of the company that they work for, your company, and they're doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, that's marketing too. Because they're telling other people, essentially, the perception of the company. So I know that I don't want to go through a lot of stuff because I'm pressed for time already, but what is the evaluation and social impact of your company? This will be an important thing, because once you guys are putting together your whole business plan, every company on this planet, believe it or not, will have a social impact of some sort. Either it's going to be positive, either it'll be negative, but there will be a social impact. For this particular type of, and there's a business plan contest that's coming up that I think you guys were probably aware of or told about. A social enterprise will have some sort of social impact of some sort. In this section, what you're trying to do is identify what is your contribution. What is the reason for the existence of this company in order for this company to provide social contributions or social benefits. So it could be that maybe you are selling products so that you can allocate 10, 20% towards maybe a social need that exists in the city of Fresno or the state of California for homeless or whatever it may be. That's cool. Identify that. But that also gives you a different type of understanding, because now you want to be able to make sure you maintain it, at least 10%. So that means that now you have to go backwards and you have to question whether your operational structure, how your company is designed, is it designed well enough or designed in a way that essentially will give you the opportunity to be able to have a social positive impact. And so one of the things that you're going to be looking for in this section is that you're going to identify your social impact, what you would like to contribute to society, but also you should be looking at whether your operational structure, the way that your business is designed, will that design of that business give you the ongoing contribution that you are seeking in terms of your social impact. So these are things that are very important, because all these things line up together. Not one is separate from the other. Each one of these sections of your business plan all should tell you something about all the other sections of your business plan. Okay? So it's a living document. You should be revising it, modifying, ongoing. Risk assessments. So what are risks? You start your business, no risk, right? Start it up, make the product, sell it, piece of cake, zero risk. Is that true? So what are the risks of putting together and starting the business? What do you guys think? This section talks about the assessment of those risks. So what you're doing now is you're identifying the potential or possible risk that could occur, not only in terms of developing the business, but also in the operation of your business, that you have to be mindful of. So all you're doing now is you're essentially identifying the possible risks that could occur. So sometimes you can do a pest model. You can essentially say, what are the political risks in terms of my business? Will the legislator or the city of Fresno or maybe the county of Fresno decide that, you know what, they want to start taxing more of my company or the type of companies that essentially I'm in the industry for? That's a big risk, because all of a sudden I didn't foresee that in the future, but now I have to be able to, I have to predict it and I have to be able to account for it. In other words, it gives me an opportunity to be able to prepare for something like that. That's where the risk assessments come into play. Maybe something economically. Maybe all of a sudden we get into a double dip economically, and all of a sudden now the economy is starting to go down. And people are buying less and less, and they have less and less money. More people are getting dislocated, they're getting terminated, they're getting laid off, and now I have less money, less people to buy my product. That is an economic risk. So when we start to look at these different things, we can prepare for those, okay? Or we can at least try to prepare as much as we can for those. Maybe there is some social risk. Maybe all of a sudden now, maybe they don't like my product anymore. Maybe, you know, in terms of the market, maybe they decide to move on to something else. Maybe my product was more of a fad than a fashion, okay? And so those are essentially reality risks that come into play that we have to be able to prepare for. Maybe technology comes into play. Maybe, you know, I'm on social media and all of a sudden now there's a whole paradigm shift in terms of now how they use social media. And then now my social media device is now obsolete. So I have to be able to prepare for that as well. So when we look at the PEST model, the political, economic, sociological, technological elements, what we're doing is we're looking at the outside forces and we're making determinations objectively, ladies and gentlemen, even subjectively to a certain degree, what possible risk could actually deter me from operating and meeting my mission. And I want to be able to identify those and offer some solutions or some preparation that I would do in order to be able to reduce the impact that something like that could have on my business. That is what we call a risk assessment. And last but not least, the conclusion. So the conclusion of anything else is now in front of Shark Tank. They're going to ask you, what does this all mean? That is exactly what you're going to do in your conclusions. You're going to tie it all together. You're telling me that you're going to operate this way, you're going to sell this type of product, you're going to be designed this way in terms of operation, you're going to make this amount of money, you're going to provide this amount of social responsibility in terms of your contributions, you're going to do all these different things in terms of marketing. Okay, why? That is your conclusion. You have to essentially, explain the reason why you have designed it this way, the reason why your mission is this way, and the reason why your company will be successful. That is your conclusions in terms of your business plan.